Today on Smackey's Garage, we're going to be looking at how do we improve the sealing of these garage doors. Around the edges, I've noticed that when it gets windy out, they push away from the wall itself and a lot of cold air comes in and really makes my garage freezing. Now, this is a problem for me because I spend a lot of time in the garage working on my projects. This is where my entire YouTube channel is based out of. So what we're going to do is we're going to try a new hinge system called the Green Hinge system that's supposed to help improve this, and we're going to see how well they work. So let's go ahead, let's jump into it. So a little bit windy out today, but when you look at the door, when it does get too windy, the door will actually push away and you can see the light and you can feel a lot of the cold air coming through. Now, these hinges here, they just hold it in place. They don't really push the door against it. But what I found is some hinges that do add some force there. And they're called green hinges. So you can see it's an interesting design. I need to try them out. I'm going to be installing them this week, but this is spring loaded. So it should be holding the door shut, which is great because it would solve that issue with air getting around the door. When looking at the reviews online, they were very highly reviewed and highly rated. They had over 300 reviews, over 4.7 stars, or said 4.7 stars. So I'm guessing that people are very happy with these. They seem, from the reading some of the reviews, easy to install. They work well. I'm interested to see how they work because I really want to seal the doors a little bit better because I spend every weekend in here, and keeping this place warmer makes a big difference for me and my channel. It also helps me cut down on the heating costs in the winter because while I do have heat in here, having that heat running constantly costs a lot of money and it's loud, so it's hard to film in here. A lot of things that I need to do to make this work, but for this, we're gonna go ahead and install them. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. All right, so here's the hinges, and when we look at the green hinge system, it'll work for pretty much any door, it says. Silver springs for residential doors under 12 feet, gold springs are for commercial doors and residential 12 feet wide and over. So you could use it for a double door, you could use it for a single door, but it also looks like they're nicely manufactured. So everything here looks nicely powder coated and well put together. Now, one thing to note before you go ahead and order these is you need to make sure that they're actually compatible with your door. So on the site or on Amazon, wherever you're gonna buy them, they do have a diagram that shows what the dimensions need to be for these to fit. Now you can see they're very similar to the ones that I'm running here. So I checked it, they do fit. Now it should be an easy installation. I'm gonna go ahead and do one at a time. All right, what makes these special is this piece here is actually sprung. So the roller is gonna be pushing itself against the door. And the difference is on the ones that are on there now, all it does is hold it up against the door, kind of with some tolerance, so you have to have some pressure from the track. These just completely sprung. It should help keep constant pressure on the roller, which will push it into the door. Now we're gonna go ahead and install these. And when we look at how they get installed, each one of them is numbered. So we have numbers 1, numbers 2, and number 3. So there's corresponding ones in the order we're going to put them in. We're going to do this one first, then this one. So we're going to work 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. On the instructions, it says only to do one at a time. So we're going to make sure that we do it that way. And then we're going to start exactly like it says here. Panel 1, panel 2, panel 3. So hinge 1 is right here. Then we're going to work all the way up to the third one up. So it seems like everything's relatively simple to install. So let's go ahead and do this. Now the first instruction, which looks very important, is to disconnect it from power and remove the battery backup. So I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect mine. After the door was shut and the power and the battery backup were disconnected, I went ahead and left the latch in place because I wanted to make sure there was still pressure on the door. Now I'm just going to show you how to do the first one because after you do one, they're all the same. Now, one of the things I am going to do while I'm in here is clean these all up because you usually don't get the opportunity to take them apart and to clean them up. So it says to only take one off at a time because we want to make sure that we don't misalign the door or anything. So here we go. Now to put it back together, same orientation. I'm going to put this in the sprung side, to the side with the spring. And we're going to go ahead and get it into place. So what I like to do while working on garage doors, it's best if you get everything started. So one thing to note is you need to make sure that you get this screw in here first, and then you can slide it down into position, because if you don't do it that way, you're not going to be able to get to it with the other screws in. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to tighten it down almost all the way, and then I'm going to put the rest in. And then I'm going to have to finish tightening it using an open end. One thing to know while doing this is I only needed to use the open end on the bottom two. I don't need to use it on any of the rest of them. But so far so good for the installation. Everything's just going smoothly, which is a nice change. All right, now they're installed. I've run the door up and down a few times, and everything seems to be working normal, and everything seems to be working the way it's intended. So I didn't screw anything up while installing them. So really easy to install. Now, one of the first things that I'm noticing is over here, the door is much closer to the panel and to the wood itself. So it's definitely making a better seal with these spring-loaded wheels, or the spring-loaded hinges on them. So that's good. So this is the door without the hinges, and you can see the huge gap, the line there from the light coming in. It's just shining through the vinyl, so no air is coming in right now, but when wind does come, it will push it away far enough so that the light does come through. Here's the door that we replaced the hinges on. You can see it's pretty much right up against it, and you know, it takes a lot of force to move this away now. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut to a few days later where it's bright out and we can get a good view of it. And we're also gonna see, does this help remove some of the sealing issues that I've had? All right, now I've had these installed for a few days, and I gotta say, it's made a significant difference in here, as you were seeing from the gaps that were in there. I noticed that there's less moving air in this room, which is good for the winter. That means that the wind isn't pushing in, and it's much more stable in temperature than it was before. So I'm really happy with this upgrade. I actually can't believe how much of a difference they make. My goal is to replace the other door hinges as well. I've actually already ordered a second set to do that because I want to make sure that both of them are sealing really well. And you know, for someone that spends a lot of time in the garage in the winter, this is the perfect upgrade to better insulate and give me a warmer temperature in here. It's also going to help me keep my energy costs down. Thanks for tuning in to Smackey's Garage this week. If you want, there's a membership program. You're welcome to join that. You get access to a lot of the videos early. If you found this useful at all, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel, do a lot of projects like this. I'll see you next time on Smackey's Garage.